Welcome back, ladies and gents, as we head in towards our second match here on the night. And this time it's going to be Frontside eSports taking on Lucky eSports. Both of these teams fairly new to Abyssal League, but we're going to see exactly how they're going to be able to kind of make their debut. Specifically Lucky eSports, as they are currently sitting 0-0. So this will be their first match here, Switch, to see who exactly is going to be able to kind of display themselves as some of the hard carries on the team.
Yep, that is correct, Visions. And like you said, relatively new. From the limited information that I do have, though, both of these teams have really strong mid-jungles, actually. We personally, me and you, Visions, have casted Almost in the jungle, great player, as well as Barmethian, we talked about. And he might also have a very interesting champion pool. So lots of definitely names that we've seen before when it comes to the highest level of play. And it makes sense, too, right? Barmethian, Grandmaster, Almost Diamond 1. This game is going to be high competition, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And something in that dialogue as well said something about Almost as Kazakhstan Rengar. And well, we're not going to be seeing it here against Lucky eSports in their debut game. It is taken off the table, as well as the Sejuani and Fiora.
Yeah, coincidence, I suppose. But as you said, Sejuani off the table as well. That's definitely interesting, but you would feel targeted towards Lucky eSports on that one. The Fiora as well. I feel like just taking out Fiora beforehand just allows you... By the way, that's a lovely Kale. That's a lovely Kale icon right there. I feel like taking out the Fiora beforehand means that you have definitely more options to secure in the top side. But the Zoe is going to kick us off into the pick phase.
It is going to be the Xayah picked up here. The Kai'Sa is still very much available. Would expect that to be picked up. And, well, there you have it. Is pretty much the two primary ADCs we see in this meta, unless they're both banned away in Phase 1. So very likely that'll be picked up. And we did see the Nautilus pair pretty well last game with the Draven, but this time around it does pair extremely well with the Kai'Sa. So likely that might be picked up here for us as well. And, well, look at this, Switch. I'm just, I'm the play-by-play, by the way, but easy reads.
Wow. Color me surprised, Visions. Kai'Sa and Nautilus in the same lane.
That's right, man. I do it all. I know.
What's next, Zyrakan? Jesus, you're just coming out with all the curveballs on this.
Hell yeah.
So are Lucky eSports and Frontside right now. This is probably the top 3 bottom lanes on this current patch, right? And if we're talking about competitive, I think probably top 2 bottom lanes. Like, this is pretty much as good as it can get in terms of the bot side, and that might be an indication that these could perhaps be a bot side focused game, a bot side centric game. So we'll have to see what are the other pieces moving around this bot side, right? Is there a mid that can rotate down? Is there a top side like a Shen we saw last game that could potentially influence that? And of course, gotta take a look at the jungle matchups as we progress through the pick and ban. Lucky eSports with one last pick. And would you look at that? The Viking returns.
I like that. Olaf rising in popularity over these past few patches, able to still deal quite a bit of damage there. Has a great early game, great clear, doesn't even need a leash. But the follow-up pick is going to be the Shen we saw in the last game. It did wonders for the most part there in the top side of the map here. And this time the top laner has not been actually picked, so there is potential for some banouts, as looks like we're going to get a Veigar here, banned away here for Phase 2.
Yeah, there's the Shen coming out like I mentioned earlier. I'm actually really just surprised. I don't get this whole blind pick Shen deal, but I guess it's not as bad if you take the Kale out of the equation, right? Kale and also Fiora, right? 2 top laners that if they get a free matchup, they're going to take like pretty much the entire game, right? If you give them enough time to scale. So it's good that those are off the table. The Shen is secured. Now we're seeing the rest of the bans coming out. Yeah, I think you're right, Visions, that Barmethian does have a Veigar. It was pretty dirty, and now it's off the table.
Yeah, we can see a lot of pocket picks being taken away on both sides here in the bans. And Orianna, I believe another one of the champions that he has played quite a bit in a lot of the tournaments that he does play in. So that will be taken out, as well as the Qiyana.
Yeah, Qiyana at the very least taken off the table. I know she's in slightly a better spot right now, but honestly, she's kind of, you know, she's not fun when a Qiyana is ahead. So go ahead, take this one off the table as well. Now I'm really just wondering what's Frontside's jungler that's going to be combating the Olaf in this hand. And whoa, Hecarim, I haven't seen that boy in a long time.
Yeah, it still does offer some of that good engage. We'll be able to follow up the Nautilus here, and might be able to help them a bit in the early game because it's very clear that the Shen does not have a winning lane. The Kai'Sa Nautilus pretty much, kind of gonna be able to go toe to toe with the Zyrakan for the most part, depending on who's able to play that matchup, of course, better here. But the Hecarim hopefully able to at least complement some of that early game pressure, set up those ganks as Ornn is being hovered, and looks like Ornn is gonna be locked in.
Yeah, Ornn is going to be secure. That's a good amount of scaling as well as consistent engage, which is going to help a pick like Olaf really get into the fray. So that's definitely appreciated for Lucky Esports. The Hecarim, I kind of want to dive on into this one. So I like Hecarim with Shen because Hecarim has a very sweet time engage. Like you said, he can follow up with the Nautilus as well, right? You've got good engage for the side of Frontside. So you throw a Shen into that equation and you feel comfortable engaging on a lot of picks, which is good for Frontside. The only problem is the 1v1 jungle matchup, Hecarim versus Olaf. I feel like it's really a damage race, right? Who can kill who first? And more often than not, I would believe Olaf would win that one, right? Hecarim is more about upfront burst, but then after that, you gotta wait for like your Qs to come off a cooldown, right? But the Olaf, on the other hand, he's just got so many base damages. He heals when he autos. It's ridiculous stuff. And speaking of healing, it's going to be the Hemomancer, Vladimir, back into the fray of things. And now you've got a 6 setup for the side of Lucky Esports. And it doesn't even really all depend on the Xayah and Rakan. In fact, I would say that's probably the least of your worries for Frontside Esports. You've got to worry about the Ornn engage, the Olaf running at you, and the Vladimir just in the thick of things as well. So much dive and so much burst that could potentially melt your backline picks. Speaking of backline, it's going to be the Anivia rounding out Frontside.
Yeah, and that's maybe makes it a little bit more difficult to go on top of someone like the Anivia if able to set up that wall pretty well. Can make it so that the Rakan, it gets separated from the team. Not everyone can just run in there. The Olaf might have the Ragnarok, but unfortunately can't walk straight through the Anivia wall. So it's going to be a nice last pick here, and that will be going over to the Mad Show. And you brought up a little bit earlier, some of this jungle mid synergy on both sides, and how important I feel like this is going to be, especially with a Vladimir and an Anivia, both champions that are able to scale extremely well going in towards the later stages of the game here, with both aggressive early junglers, meaning that who was able to get that first jump in the mid lane could kind of be the decider. Vladimir a little bit more difficult to gank, but there is actually some good setup with the Anivia, with the stun, with the wall. So I think that is going to be probably one of the main components to seeing what team is going to be able to get this lead here in this best of one.
Yeah, it absolutely is true. In fact, I think both mid laners are difficult to gank, right? We can't forget about the Anivia egg that honestly a lot of mid laners forget about, and then they end up baiting themselves. So please keep in mind that there is an egg right after you kill the Anivia. But you're definitely right that there's a big scaling component to this entire game. You even look at the boss side, there's tons of scaling, and I would actually say you'd probably favor the side of Frontside because they have tons of dive. They can consistently delete the Xayah Rakan, and then they can play out the rest of the fight. Your Anivia is going to be safe for the most part because I don't know. I don't really care how good of an Ornn engage it is. I think Anivia has so many tools to really kite out and to really escape from all these situations that I think for the most part she's going to be okay. Mad is going to be a consistent damage threat throughout this entire game, and I would actually pick Frontside Esports to really take this one. I think they have a good mix of damage, utility, and also great scaling as well.
That's right. And Frontside, do have at least 2 games already played in the league. They are 1-1, but this is Lucky Esports, coming out in the very first game. And you want to come out, of course, with a win on the day. And this is really going to determine, how much prep they put in towards a match like this, how much they were really looking at some of maybe the plays from last week or looking in towards this team here. We saw a lot of pocket picks come through and banning phase there for both of these teams. So it looks like there has been at least a good amount of prep for as far as champions picked coming in, but now it's going to come down to play style. And on our last game, we saw a very good early game composition going up a very good late game composition. Well, the late game composition got online a lot earlier than you were expecting them to here, but this time around, both teams have some great resources, have some great things going for them heading in towards later stages and playing around those neutral objectives here. I think it's just going to be a lot on almost and play emotional. They are going to dictate the pace of the game. The top lane is kind of irrelevant for the most part. It's just going to be two wet noodles battling back and forth with each other. You know, who's able to make the best kind of global plays around the map, who's able to ult through mid lane, like Vital probably looking to do that potentially on the Immobile and Nivea. But overall, it is, like you highlighted, the bot lane going to be focused and the mid lane certainly going to be focused.
Oh yeah, both Xayah and Rakan can just run away, or both Xayah and Kai'Sa rather, can just run away with the fight if you give them the resources. And especially for Kai'Sa, she's gonna feel quite nice when she gets that power spike, the Rage Blade, the Mana Mune into the Muramana. You're just loving that that part of the game for Kai'Sa. So would love to see what actually happens in the bot lane, how it pans out, and which bot lane gets ahead, because I would honestly favor whatever bot lane gets ahead for that team to just take the game, because for the most part, I feel like these teams are evenly matched when I look at the composition at hand, right? You've got just safe DPS in the mid side. That's always going to be a consistent threat. You've got this like bruiser jungler, this tank top. So really all does come down to, hey, how much firepower do you actually accumulate here in the bot lane? Either Xayah and Kai'Sa is gonna run over this entire game. It's just a matter of who. But either way, really cool stuff. Now to take a bit of a highlight at the actual junglers. We know Olaf. Olaf is a tested value, right? We know he has a great early game. If you run into him and he's ready to fight you, he's going to throw undertow after undertow, and he's eventually going to whittle you down. On the other hand, Hecarim, I feel like he's much more dependent on snowballing, right? He wants to find that snowball to be able to keep playing this like assassin Hecarim playstyle. And if you don't get ahead as the Hecarim, you sort of feel kind of limited in terms of how much you can engage for Frontside, right? Nautilus is going to throw range engages, but you really need someone to get into the middle of things. And a Hecarim that's behind is not going to be comfortable doing that much. So I think the first thing is clear. Hecarim needs to get gold into his pocket.
And we'll have to see if Almost is going to be able to do that. He has been hyped up in his intro for his team. Now it's putting it on display for the stream and for everybody watching. But now, guys, we have broken down the compositions once again, so we are going to get ready to throw it to a short little break, decide who is going to be able to take this best of one in our game 2 on the night. Make sure you guys do not go anywhere. Do not want to miss game number 2. Welcome back, ladies and gents, as we head in towards our next game. Frontside eSports taking on Lucky eSports. Lucky eSports with their debut here at ABL to see if they're going to be able to display what they have been practicing. They got that 1 week there for free, and well, we're going to see the display of whether or not that is going to result in their first win or not.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see as the startups are coming through. This is an interesting man stack, which does cover you, because we know how much teams love to get vision on those Raptors. Well, try it this time around Frontside. You're going to be in for a lovely surprise.
Just waiting to see if that Nautilus walks up and see if they might be able to punish for it.
Oh.
They are going to walk forward. Undertow is very good at level 1, but the ward is just going to be dropped, and they're going to get some extra 10 gold in their pockets at the very least, but stun, it's going to result in some damage right back over, as well as the Void Seeker, I believe, or the Cube, but either way, it's going to just be some poking, seeing where everybody is on towards the map, and now we're going to get a taste of where the junglers are going to be starting. Olaf is pathing to blue side here, and I actually do like this because, you know, he doesn't need a leash, and, you know, we can see that Olaf kind of just set off the early game of not knowing where he's going to be, and Vital Low is sticking around, so he might give him one, so they might have an idea.
Yeah, both junglers actually starting around this top side could mean that they could meet around the bot side. I mean, we talked about how important getting ahead is on the bot side, and here we go.
Ooh.
Bit of skirmishing.
Yeah, grand entrance as well as the Judge Line lands, but this one is going to go very much the favor of the Zyra Khan.
Oh, wait.
For the time being, Osama's going to get locked down. He might have to pop the heal.
That's early.
Otto's going to come out. Heal was not used. He's actually going to flash forward. This time, the Dredge Line does not land. Kaisa very much behind. Quibbles, though, still very much dedicated to going for the all-in here, but he does not have his support with him. Now, Squirrel's going to come through, but they got the advantage. They kind of just bit off way too more. Now flies the grand entrance, but man, oh man, so they're already going at it.
Yeah, this is blow for blow down here, and turns out no one's going to walk away with a kill quite yet, but that was some intense stuff. Lots of summoners blown, which is going to add more fuel to the fire if junglers actually do visit this bot side.
Yeah, and, you know, there was just maybe a little bit of miscommunication, but overall, it's going to be 3 summoners for 3 summoners, but favorable for Squirtle, as he does still have his flash at the very least here, so can look to get himself out of those engages there from the undertows or the grand entrance. In the meantime, both junglers have got themselves back down towards the bot side. The full clear coming through for the Olaf, very much expected, and will be able to remain pretty healthy, and then can look to actually set up a counter gank potentially here, where Hector might get baited in towards a gank. Dredge Line hits, and Aftershock will be procced.
Yeah, very close stuff, but once again, yeah, you're absolutely right. The Olaf just going for pretty much a full clear and just going to econ, right? Just wants to get as much money as possible, get those initial items, and on the other hand, we thought
Osama's dead. Oh, a nice grand entrance. Can they turn it around? They have the minions, but no, and Olaf was not there fast enough, so that's going to result in almost getting himself towards the bot side first, and also getting that first blood. Unfortunately, did go over to Quibbles, however.
Yeah, the trade-offs are clear, Visions. One jungler decided to go for as much money as possible. The other one has found a successful gank, but this could be revenge here for the side of Lucky. Does not land.
Yeah, he's only level 2, so he is actually in some trouble. The hook does not land. Quibble's also level 2, and now almost going to be the target, but Squirtle is here to the party, and that's going to result in 1 going down. Play emotional with level 4. He's massive, and Quibbles looks like he's going to fall as well. The double is going to be picked up in the 2v3.
Wow, which is a bit too extended right there for the side of Frontside. They might get caught out even more here. No, it's just quick chunks from both sides. Fly's going to walk out with a heal, and that's Squirtle just... I think he's gonna have to be forced back here. I don't think you ever want to stay when you're this low as Kaisa. Also, you've still got Olaf here on this bot side of the map. You could go for a very quick and easy dive, but let's take a look at a bit of a replay here, as once again, it's the Hecarim extending way too far out. That's gonna allow the Olaf to auto through. The next target is, of course, the Nautilus, and you're just wondering, like, all this time, like, wait, why did they pick to go in for that fight? Because Olaf had red buff, right? Full HP as well, and you saw the Nautilus pretty unhealthy, ended up dying.
Yeah, and I think it was just missed coordination again. I think that was in the Live 2v2 very early on, just a little bit of miscoordination resulting in some early kills now on the side. of blue side here for Lucky Esports, and this is, you know, just overall looking like a little bit of a good start. You have some CS leads in the bot side now for the Zayas. Osama, even though dropping very early due to that gank, is at least able to have the wave in a favorable position. Kaisa now back in reset, had to pick up the call here, so it's just looking to potentially farm this laning phase out for the time being, as Taunt's gonna land here for Volta, and they're just going to trade blows back and forth, but it's not too much in kill pressures. They're going to go at it. Maybe Ornn actually getting the best of this one here, and maybe I have to hold my tongue as Volta gets chunked out pretty hard.
Not bad, actually, coming out for Lucky Vital. He's able to get a lot of good autos on that one. But at the end of the day, how much does it matter whether you're down or you're up 5 CS in this top side? It really all comes down to what's the play that you're going to make when you actually reconvene with the rest of your team. And I'm really looking now at the side of Frontside because they've got the Stand Unite available. Visions, we were talking in between games. You have got to get value out of the Shen, because the Shen alone in laning phase or in team fights, like it's not enough to really warrant the pick. You've got to force plays around this bot side if you're Frontside, and it looks like they're already calling almost on the Hecarim there, but it's going to be a 3v3.
Oh, Root's going to land. The Stand United is going to come through, and they're going in for the re-engage. Looking for Osama. He does not have the flash up just yet. He's not going to get by the top, but the autos will be enough from Volta. Wow. Now the return fire looking onto Quibbles. Vital's going to be able to make it a 2-for-1 as the Olaf actually takes down the Hecarim in the river, and Volta trying to trade it on the fly, but the flash is going to be forced. The double connection comes through for Vital, and that's going to result in a 3-for-1, this time in favor of Frontside.
Yeah, Lucky rather.
Oh, sorry, Lucky.
Able to come out on top from that one. You look at the beginning of that fight, so awkward for the side of Frontside. They got to Stand Unite, but it was more of a reactionary Stand Unite. It just all wasn't falling in place. On the other hand, Lucky, they had TP advantage in the mid side, right? Anivia has Ignite, and this is some interesting stuff right here. Look at Vital.
He's just testing the waters, you know, seeing what he can do on the board pick, and he's gonna have to get himself out. Just maybe actually could have baited that there.
This
play emotional. Nice. They're looking to dive. There's no summoners available for Squirtle, but they're gonna turn their attention to Quibbles. He's gonna be able to flash away, but there's 4 members stacking. This is gonna be the knockup. Vital looks like he's gonna get traded out from the tower, so a 1-for-1. But the second one's picked up from Osama. Osama just barely lives there with double-digit HP. He's going to be able to get himself out, but a 2-for-1 on the dive will be yet another advantage here for the side of Lucky Esports.
Yeah, and that's once again another win coming through for the side of Lucky. They're able to play around this bot side beautifully. Yes, losing out. Yeah, losing out a bit on the top side, right? Ornn is going to get denied those minions. Shen is going to be getting that tower plating gold, but is that really the win condition here for the side of Frontside? We talked about it in the pregame. Both of these teams want their AD carry to shine right now. It's looking to be more in the camp of Osama on the Xayah for this one.
It is thus far here. Still no items really in favor of Squirtle. Opting in for that call, 450 gold. Setting him a little bit behind. An entrance though. He's going to land on towards the Mad Show. He's going to drop that ultimate wall away, the other player, and just going to walk himself out, not having to blow anything, but enough pressure to at least have them walk in. And they already got themselves the Mountain Dragon very early on here, but they're looking to dive here again.
Yeah, I'm getting deja vu for this one, Visions. And actually, I love this lane swap, by the way. So you keep the Ornn in the mid side. He's just going to be walking, rotating down, and he has the call of the Forge God, right? He can force and engage either in the river or in this blue quadrant for the side of Frontside. Hang on, this is gonna be another 3v3.
Oh, Squirtle's not having a good game here, and that's going to be the onslaught of shadows, and they're actually turning this around. The Anivia is now joining in on the fight, but that's going to be the Ornhorn called out, able to land a knockup onto a few. Featherstorm also having to be invested, but they are turning the fight around. The stun just going to go wide. Quibble's going to drop the ignite. Root's going to land. Osama trying to get himself away, but the max range hook will find the shutdown picked up.
The Stand
United as they are looking to continue forward. No. They want this as Frontside want to see if they can grab some more, but the Hemo Plague is going to come through a little bit late from Barmithian. Nonetheless, will land a good amount of shift damage. That's going to now be the depth charge, flashing over the wall. Make sure he does not follow up the dredge line, but he still has to dodge one more skill shot here, and it's not going to be easy. Just going to walk up, land the toss, land the auto. Mad Show hopefully should be able to pick it up. No, Volta grabs himself the second of the game, and what a early game that looked so fantastic for Lucky Esports. Well, does not go lucky in that last fight.
And that, Visions, is how to lose an early game lead in just about 1 minute. We're gonna look at a replay here. It's actually in the middle of it all. And start the music, because this is definitely a spicy one. It's actually just the Ornn trying to run away. Vladimir's like hashtag me too, but no kill for him. And this flash of all things is definitely an interesting one. Unfortunate stuff. That's actually not gonna save you. Give it up for the Vladimir, as this is going to be him walking off the stage. But man, was that not so hot. And it just goes to show that you, or rather the side of Lucky on this one, were one team fight away from losing their early game lead, and they stepped right into it.
Yeah, that was certainly the case, but something that we do have to touch on here is that Squirrel is still extremely far behind right now. This man having to actually go with Berserker Griefs, has the stopwatch now at least enabled, just in case they try and four-man dive him for like the third or fourth time of the game here, but still trying to collect some of that call gold. And, Osama has that BF sword, has that Warhammer, so this is looking great for him, as he's just going to be outputting so much more damage, probably going to come online a lot sooner than Squirrel here in this matchup at the very least. And we're going to see this game continue. We might just see a lot more focus continue down towards the bot side, but that Stand United will be coming back up, and that's something they will have to keep track of.
Couldn't agree more with you. Now just taking a look at the Kai'Sa, she's just utterly far behind, right? You don't want to take fights for a while, I feel like, if you're Frontside. You just want to make sure that Kai'Sa is at least able to hit, I don't know, Manamune, at least, right? You'd prefer that before you even take a fight. But at least right now, things seem to be going well, right? The game is hopefully going to slow down, but actually not if the Olaf can help it. Play emotional here on the bot side, taking another trip tower, close to dying. But there's going to be the means evaporating.
Yeah, I think they were just hoping to maybe pressure Squirtle and Quibbles back off of the tower. We are seeing almost make his way down. He's a little bit late to the party, but he does have his ultimate up, has the ignite up, just coming here in a second, and looks like it's not going to be in time. They grabbed themselves the first tower, but they're looking for the re-engage, and the hook just going wide. But the first tower of gold collected, all 5 plates collected for the bot side, and this is obviously the goal that they went for, and it certainly did work out, as they are now looking to go on towards this dragon, but a fight just might break out. The mid lane priority is so important right now. Barmithian looking to roam in, but the dragon's already going to go down. Now the re-engage going to come through. The quick is going to land onto multiple members. In and out. Wow. That's going to be now the Ornn engage. That's going to be everything actually being blown. The Featherstorm coming through, going to land a root onto a few members. The knockup's going to land a few on the wall. The Black Flag has been dropped. Play Emotional is going to finally take down 1, but they're going to lose 2 for it, as Vulture trying to be the front line, but he is absorbing way too much. He taunts over the wall and looks like he might be out. Well, the Anivia egg has been popped. Vital's going to collect that, and the 3-for-1 is going to go yet again in favor of Lucky Esports, as well as that Elemental Drake.
Yeah, Lucky Esports across the board. They play their butts off. Let's take a look at a replay of that one. Loving the kiting coming out from the Zaya. Even calls the feathers, but she's forced out of the fight right now. Look at how she sticks around. She eventually takes out the Anivia. Also on the other side of that one was a beautiful play coming out from Barmithian. Both the Zaya and Barmithian on the Vladimir. Beautiful performances coming out from them. They carry their team, and back to the current game, it's going to be 2 towers to 0 in favor of Lucky Esports.
The towers, the goal lead, starting to be a massive advantage. Lucky Esports finding their footing here and getting closer and closer to some of these item spikes. Osama sitting on a lot of gold. They're actually going to go for a Rift Herald here as well. It doesn't look like there's going to be any kind of a counterplay. There is a lot of gold sitting on these inventories. Barmithian sitting on 2K. Osama sitting on almost 2K, 1,800 at the moment here, but they are going to be able to grab this uncontested. So this is just pretty much Lucky Esports taking whatever they want on the map, and there's not a whole lot of contests coming through right now for the side of Frontside, as they are starting to feel the pressure.
They are absolutely feeling the pressure, and they're not really, sort of firing back this game, right? Frontside are just unfortunately forced to keep scaling, but it's getting worse and worse when we take a look at the bot side now. You've got a big CS disparity starting to appear, 20 in favor of Osama on the Zaya. Osama looked already fantastic that last team fight. You would think he's only going to get better, while on the other hand, Squirtle, he's needed those items like yesterday, and this game is not going to get any better as long as he doesn't have those items. So you're in quite a pickle here for the side of Frontside, and lacking the answers, might just have to give up even more dragons just to have a shot at the rest of this game.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. Also, there was 11 platings actually picked up there in that early game for the side of Lucky Esports, and I think they only lost about 3 there on their side, 1 in the mid lane and about 2 in the top, so that was also a massive reason for this goal lead. It has 2 pink wards on the Dragon Pit. Must be better than 1, but Vital's going to take care of that in the time being. TP going to be invested in the top, so they're looking to hold on to the tower here, looking to find that response. Killer Instinct is available, but this Kai'Sa is still very weak at this point in stage. And they're just going to use that TP to make sure the tower does not fall down just yet.
Yeah, you know, I think once Lucky sees the blue buff of Nivea, I think you just abandon all hope of taking the tower on this one. Like, you're like, all right, pack it up, boys. Let's just get out of here. Actually, peering around for a team fight. That's going to be a nice
goes in. Stand United also used the wall that was blocking off the rest of the team. Almost is going to go in, but he gets hit with the quickness, and he's going to get blown up. The Hemo Plague lands on the 3 members. Vital's going to be leading the charge in the front line. They're not going to be able to dive in the tower. Quibbles goes in, but the wall denies him the engage, and he's going to lose his life. 2 more members fall. The Rip Shield being dropped, and they already got themselves to tier 1.
That's bad. I cannot tell you, I cannot express enough how much Frontside need to slow down this game, but they're doing anything but, right? The Hecarim diving in, that's not how you slow down the game, Visions, I'll tell you that much. And now Shelly clashing onto this tier 2 tower. It's going to be the 4th in favor of Lucky Esports. They've just taken tower after tower with little good response coming out from the side of Frontside.
That's right. 17 minutes closing in. The goal lead is massive at this point in time here. 8,000 just about. And now we're looking on towards that next elemental drag. Probably the next free objective picked up for the side of Lucky Esports as they're just taking everything. 4 towers, 2 elemental drags already in their pocket. They're going to go for a reset on some of the carries, and that is just going to be terrifying. They're going to come back with even more completed items most likely here. Zaya might just be working towards that Infinity Edge. It's going to fall short, but Vladimir getting closer and closer to his second item, and these power spikes are coming online way sooner than you would usually expect.
Absolutely. The Vladimir, the Zaya, like, people are at least getting the money that they need. And also for Zaya Lucky Esports, your competition does not have anywhere close to the money that they need, right? If anything, I think the BF sword here for the side of Squirtle, I think it's just saying, please, just give me upfront damage. Like, I'll do anything. Just give me AAD at this point, right? I'm not worried about attack speed. I'm not worried about getting a rage play. I just want to be able to exist in these team fights, and another one breaking loose here.
Quibbles the target, very low already. Looks like he's just going to be giving up for free. He's going to try and flash away, and actually the dredge line will make sure he does get out. Now Nivea is the target. No flash available for her, but they actually are able to disengage. However, I do still believe this dragon should be going freely over to the side of Lucky Esports, as they had to use a lot of tools just to get themselves out.
Yeah, this is just guaranteed, and you have to give this up if you're the side of Frontside as well, right? You need time more than you need Baron buffs, and that's more than you need Dragon buffs, and that's what ignoring it is going to allow you at the very least. But pushes are still forming in multiple lanes now. Got Lucky trying to batter down this bot side, and again, the only real wave clear is the Anivia. She's stuck with mid duty, so this is almost a tower here in favor of Lucky. They're 4-0, about to be 5-0. I mean, on one hand, sure, you're buying time for the side of Frontside, but on the other hand, you're bleeding gold, right? You're losing more and more gold because you cannot deal with these pushes.
So you're losing resources, losing vision, pretty much purely dark here. Only 1 ward in the top side jungle. They are looking to maybe force an engage. Hecarim on the side waiting with the Onslaught of Shadows. Has the Ignite up as well here. Only level 10. So does not have that level 11 ultimate spike just yet here, as Play Emotional is going to be playing very aggressive for the time being, just walking up. No worries with that Ragnarok here. Just actually going to have to pop it now. That was maybe a bit too aggressive there, and we'll lose that cooldown on that ultimate.
Yeah, honestly, the side of Frontside, I thought the best idea, or I was going to say the best idea, is really to allow Lucky to split, and you sacrifice 1 tower on one side for an engage on the other, right? And you get yourself a beneficial team fight. And now, because Lucky decided to go 5-man mid, it's never going to work. Like, there's an Anivia, right? That's just what Anivias do, so they do buy themselves even more time. I think the only option really is commit to one side, sacrifice the tower on the other side, and you hope the money that you make out of a successful team fight will slowly progress you forward for the side of Frontside. But I mean, at this point, it's not getting, it's not getting money. It's more just trading little money for hopefully more money that you can get on the other side, right? Like, you have to take a loss somewhere.
Oh,
actually,
oh, the wall. He's actually just going to be able to
no Ragnarok.
But the chain CC is going to follow, play emotional. Has a big bouncy over his head. The Ragnarok just coming back up off of cooldown. But now it's actually going to be Fly, who might pay for his jungler's mistake. The support's going to go down, but at least they still have the jungler up for the Baron. He is chunked out very low, and it looks like they're just going to settle with that pick for the time being.
Yeah, you'll take whatever money you can get. Would have been lovely to kill the Olaf because he is sitting on that bounty, but hey, once again, yeah, beggars can't be choosers, and right now the side of Frontside, they just need gold more than anything. Unfortunately, that did not go anywhere close to getting into the pocket of Squirtle, so once again, it looks like he's building towards Infinity Edge. I don't get this push, by the way.
Yeah,
like,
I agree. I agree. You mentioned the side lanes and playing around that. I almost even think just pulling the trigger on the Baron, and you have the Ornn ultimate. You have the Vladimir with Flash that can look for a flank and zone your backline away. Like, there's so many great tools going for you. You don't want to take the 50-50. You just want to be able to bait them out of the lanes. Make the Anivia move out of that mid lane so she can't just clear the minions freely. Make her walk up and be a mobile champion in the jungle. But we'll have to see what they are deciding to do. They are playing around that Baron now, and finally it looks like they're going to start it up.
It would actually be so genius if they called attention towards the bot side, but it looks like that's not even necessary for Lucky. They're just burning down the Baron. 4,000 gold remaining. There's Promethean poised and ready.
They're going in. That's going to be Hemoplague on a few, but I did not believe that was Kaisa. Killer Instinct's going to be used just defensively. But Promethean's going to pop the jungler, pop the support. He's going to go gold and trying to get himself out. That will be enough to get himself away. Osama collecting the other kill. They lose the jungler. Now they can turn their attention back to the Baron here, but instead they're opting in for mid lane.
I mean, turns out they already took the Baron. Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, that's a play that you can reproduce. I didn't even notice they took the Baron already. It was just that quickly that they were able to secure it. And this is going to be a brutal push in favor of Lucky Esports now. It looks like they're going to take their time with this one. I'd even rotate a bit, give the old rotation a try, and maybe get a little bit of extra bot damage on. But either way, this is going to be a slow whittle away, right? And now the side of Frontside have to pull the trigger. They have to do something. It's only 23 minutes in, and you're getting shoved into your inhibitors.
Oh, they're going for Xayah. That's going to be the ultimate invested. Nice. Double ultimates here. So looks like the Lovers duo is actually going to fall down. The Macho is also able to get himself another kill. And I really don't like the reset not coming through there for the side of Lucky Esports. You're sitting on all this extra gold. You might as well just spend it. They come it on the map with the Baron. Instead, they opt in for a forced play and they lose the bot lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And
they might lose the mid lane too. Promethean, he's going to use that Hemoplague. He's going to use that pool.
Doesn't matter.
That was almost...
Oh, wait, what are you guys doing?
Himself away, but everyone's just trying to get a piece of the pie, and I don't think this is the right play. Vital does have the flash, and he's going to use it, and also close the distance there, and that's going to actually be a Mountain Dragon picked up that should have never been picked up here for the side of Frontside.
Visions, again, I'm getting deja vu. How to lose a gold lead in a couple simple steps, but not quite yet for the side of Lucky, as they are able to retain the majority of that. Give up a dragon, though. I'm sure Lucky would have loved having double Mountain, but it's not the end of the world, and this isn't anywhere close to an even game quite yet. Remember, Kaisa is a non-factor. Look at her eyes. She has she hasn't even finished her call, dude. Like,
almost
about
got it.
This is the power spike. This is what we've been waiting for, Vision.
That's right. Finally got 100 stacks there on that coal, and we'll be able to sell it back for an extra 180 gold, I do believe, as well. So at least able to potentially get that first item, I do believe here, as she's sitting on about 2,500 there. So it looks like finally the Storm Razor comes through at 24 minutes. Give her a round of applause here, ladies and gentlemen. But this is going to be the push coming back through. There's no Baron on the map. There's no neutral objectives. There's only waves. But the Baron is actually going to be active on a few different members for just a little bit of time. And looks like they are still looking to split up the lanes. The Lovers duo maybe looking to make the rotation over. But in the meantime, still struggling to get themselves in. The inhibitor is exposed. And they are moving forward here with the Baron. 2 members in mid, 2 members in bot. 3, excuse me, but they're going to force it on 3 members here. They're looking for Promethean. He's going to go golden for a quick moment. Olaf trying to do damage, but Volta's going to be able to find Fly, and now they're actually going to find a trade, but it's added 2 for 1, maybe a 3 for 1. The jungler's going to fall. The Ornn engages way too late. Osama is up and does have that empowered Infinity Edge with Ornn, but they're going to have to walk away, and another nice hold is going to come through here for Frontside.
Yeah, and again, it does seem to fall apart once you're getting close to knocking that inhibitor down, and I mean, props to the side of Frontside. They are decisive with their engages. I love that Hecarim from the back with the Stand United next to him that puts Shen right into the thick of things. And overall, once again, you bought yourself a lease on life. You can look forward to this next Baron buff with all of your inhibitors intact, and that's going to be pretty much a bit of a saving grace. I don't know if it means that we're back to even. We're back to square one in terms of this game, because yet again, also, Storm Razor is not the item that it was. I don't know about that one, Chief.
I think it's just picked up, I believe, for one of the empowered abilities, right?
Yeah, okay, so no, this just straight up doesn't work. So Storm Razor used to be, you build up like a an attack that gives you, like, you know, extra movement speed and attack speed. It doesn't do that anymore. Like, all it does is amplify the effectiveness of like your Zeal items, but there's no Zeal item.
That's fair.
No, did it get reverted? No way. I'm trying to read this right now, actually.
As we learn in game, but yeah. Either way,
the day I learned.
in the meantime, we do have our Baron coming up in a minute 15, and that's what we have to keep our eyes on, because it's very clear that Lucky Esports cannot get themselves into the base with the Baron. But last time they played the Baron very poorly. They didn't actually reset right after they got it. They tried to force with all that extra gold sitting in their pockets, and while they lost the Lovers duo, they went in again, and they went for the 2 Lover duos in the bot side and 3 in the mid lane. They ended up losing all 3 members in the mid lane there, and you know, it's just poor coordination, but good actual engages and good proactivity, at least from the side of Frontside. You know, not giving up completely, still holding on and trying to defend and see if they can get themselves to 2-1 in the standings. But we're almost 30 minutes in, and well, a lot of these members are scaling up here, Switch.
Absolutely, and the scaling right now for Frontside, I mean, you've got your Anivia slowly getting item after item. I love the Muralonomicon. That's definitely going to take a chunk out of Promethean's healing. You're finally getting actual completed items in the hand of Squirtle, so that's beautiful stuff in and of itself. And the Shen as well, like, he's going to be a threat that forces Lucky Esports to engage, because he's going to be able to split push, right? And you just can't answer a Shen unless you expend TP. You're getting into a great part of the game where the Anivia stalling is finally going to pay off for you, but actually the Baron is being started right now, and this is probably the biggest hurdle right now in front of Frontside, and yikes.
To take it away, pretty much not even knowing on the side of Frontside Esports, and that was just due to that Mountain. The Xayah now 3 items, so I feel like they can just group mid as 5 here. They might have the Anivia for, you know, the clear, but there's no tower. Like, they should be able to just walk in, get that inhibitor down, and maybe just make a rotation towards the top side here. But instead, they are opting in for a 1-3-1 at the moment.
1-3-1 it is, and this is probably the best thing you can ask for. Like, Shen can't really wave clear, so he's going to be losing out on that bot wave. Mids, yes, it's being covered by Anivia, but once again, this is your only source of wave clear for the side of Frontside.
Oh,
this is
there
going
it
to
is.
be a forced engage. There's a Stand Unite as well.
Featherstorm's going to come through. This is going to be the Shen, the ultimate. Everything blown on Osama, and he's been deleted. Yet again, it looks like they're going to lose this fight. They are losing the base.
Look at the base.
It was taken in the top side and the bot side, so they go for the engage. They might have found the 80 carry, but the base is falling to pieces, and now they're re-engaged. Ornn is going to find a knock-up onto 1. Kai'Sa is getting zoned away. Does not have that front line.
Squirtle can't play this.
Away again as the match show's trying to drop some damage. Promethean is going to be able to dodge the taunt, going golden, trying to buy time. But while all this is happening, triple inhibitors have fallen down. They've lost the Nexus turret, and they should have enough to wait one more time to group and end the game.
Yeah, really scary stuff. It could have all fallen apart right there for Frontside, but they're able to stick through it. They get, once again, another bit of life injected into this game, and now with the Anivia wave clear, I don't know how much you have to worry about these minions coming in, because they're still going to be Baron empowered. They're going to be super minions as well. It's a tall order right now for Frontside, and I don't know how they're going to be able to manage this.
And the only thing is if they can somehow stall out one more fight, then all of that gold from those minions actually gets denied. All of that XP denied for Lucky eSports, and actually gets the Anivia, the Kaisa online. There is at least 2 items here for the Kaisa, but still so far behind right now to Osama. And they're going to invest the TP, so they're looking for the end, and they have the Baron on. They have to find some kind of a miracle flank or something, but there's no time for it. They're just going to have to pull the trigger. They find the hook. Prometheus the target, but he's going to be able to pull away. Keep your eyes on Vital. He'll be in the front line. He's looking for that engage, waiting for the minions just to collapse. They're going to have to deal with multiple waves. This is just almost an impossible scenario right now. So difficult to deal with these empowered Baron minions, but here we go. Engage is going to come down. It's going to be knocked out there from Quibbles. Make sure he denies the engage. Now the wall is going to be on cooldown. The minions still pouring into the base here. That will be the ultimate invested and used here from the Anivia, but now the onslaught of shadows to the backline. Osama is finally in the play. On the other side of the team is going to result in 2 members falling, and they got nothing to do. That's going to be the Nexus falling down without even the ace going through. And Lucky eSports, they may not have closed it out very clean, but at the end of the day, they still close it out and they get themselves their first win.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they force the issue, they push when it matters, and they're able to secure this game, the first win of their season, I believe, as they are a new one coming in. But man, was that actually getting very close to Frontside scaling into the game, but was not to be, as you've got to just look at every single lane for the side of Lucky and say, I think they played slightly better than their counterparts, right? You look at Barmethian on the Vladimir, Lucky Vital on the Ornn, they looked great. And the bot side, Osama on Xayah, like, yes, he was just, you know, getting assist after assist or kill after kill playing backline Xayah, but there were definitely team fights where the entirety of Lucky in each role popped off, and they absolutely have earned themselves this win.
They absolutely have. Good credit over towards Lucky eSports for the win, but we have to get ready to set up our next match. I also believe there will be some new casters replacing myself and Switch, but make sure you guys do stay tuned for our next match. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 3 on the night.